addressing the root cause बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है किसी भी चीज को समझना कि ये रूट है, बिकॉज हमें लगता है कि हम रूट पे पहुंच गए, बट वो रूट होता नहीं. रूट कॉज ऑफ एवरीथिंग कम्स विथ हाउ थिंग्स आर क्रिएटेड, हाउ थिंग इज जनरेटेड. अब बेबी का रूट कॉज है तो बेबी का रूट कॉज हमें पता चलेगा with the process of reproduction, with the process of internal development of a female. So then we understand how the cord is so important, you know, the cord that connects the mother with child. तो रूट कॉज हर चीज का सोल्यूशन लाता है. there's always a solution in the root cause, and to reach at the root cause is the only way to fix a problem. So in my understanding, when I think about poverty and when I think about uh, people who are needy and vulnerable and are living a life in a certain way, and as I said, this is created. Now we come back to the complication of understanding why is this created. वजह क्या हुई इसके क्रिएट होने की, और ये कर्ब क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा है. सबसे पहले तो हमें ये पता चल गया कि ये क्रिएट हुआ बिकॉज somebody wanted to take control of authority. यहाँ से हम शुरू हुए. हमें कंट्रोल चाहिए so that we can control a little population that we have. Then we came up with the rule of kings and queens. Trade, business, people would, a leader stands up and start guiding people. बिजनेस शुरू होता है तो पैसा जनरेट होता है, पैसा जनरेट होता है तो लोगों के उस टाइम पे पर्पस डेवलप होना शुरू होता है. अब वहां से क्या होता है कि लीडर को ना लोगों को और कंट्रोल करना पड़ता है. कुछ लोग उसे अच्छे लगे, कुछ लोग उसे नहीं अच्छे, लाइक गिविंग द नेम टू द पीपल. सम पीपल ही डिड नॉट वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ अनटचेबल कैटेगरी. वहां पे आ जाती, ओ आई डोंट वांट, ये इनकी शक्लें मुझे अच्छी नहीं लग रही, इनको ना अनटचेबल्स में डाल दो, और अनटचेबल्स को एक कास्ट का नाम दे दो, ये उस ग्रुप में चले जाएंगे. अब क्या होता है कि उस ग्रुप में कम्युनिटी तो डेवलप होएगी ना, फैमिली तो बनाएगा ना, वो बंदा आइसोलेट तो नहीं रहेगा. मैन इज अ सोशल एनिमल बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे. तो वहां से वो कास्ट सिस्टम जो होता है डेवलप शुरू हो जाता है, प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट हो जाता है. वहां से हम जो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स हमारे बने होते हैं, हाई क्लास, लो क्लास, business class, this class, that class, everything starts developing just because there was a king or a queen who rejected someone at the untouchable level, and henceforth we came up with this concept. And this is everywhere. ये जो पंचायत सिस्टम होता है, accepting people and not accepting, because we have a mindset. Somebody is cleaning the toilet, that person is not good. Like I had a mindset when I was living in PG. I had a very terrible experience. I had one brush which she used in the commode, and the same brush she wanted to use in the sink, and she did use it, I remember, and I had to buy a new one. I instructed my cleaner that please don't mix the brushes. It was very disturbing for me. So we have our own mindset towards how we respond to hygiene, how we respond to uh, what we engage with, and how we look at things. So somebody cleaning a toilet becomes like, no, 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 I can't. Somebody cannot tolerate. While that person does not feel bad because they are immune doing something like that, or they are okay and they're open minded, or whatever, the reason is that they're open about it. Now, when we come up to the understanding of how to generate revenue, क्या होता है ना, we started opening education, we started selling education. School system came. When school system came, the school became very picky about admitting certain students from background. Literally, I'm talking about higher schools where parents were interviewed, and this is important. लोगों को ये बुरा लगता है. क्यों है ये सिस्टम? ये सिस्टम इसलिए है क्योंकि कॉन्ट्रास्ट बच्चे की एजुकेशन कैसी होगी ना, ये उसके बैकग्राउंड से पता चलता है. कि पेरेंट्स का माइंडसेट कैसा है. तो पेरेंट्स का इंटरव्यू लिया जाता है बिफोर गिविंग एडमिशन टू योर चाइल्ड. एंड तीनों का इंटरव्यू होता है. इट्स नॉट जस्ट the parents, but it is also the interview of the child to understand and compare the mindset of a child with parents, and to figure out if there is any uh, negativity or positivity in the family, and how the child is scared or child is not scared. Teachers talk and the interview is conducted. ये सिस्टम हर जगह नहीं होता। ये सिस्टम एसेंशियल भी है टू सम एक्सटेंट। ये इसलिए एसेंशियल है बिकॉज हम जिस फैमिली से एडमिशन ले रहे हैं बच्चे का, वो दूसरे बच्चों के साथ इन्वॉल्व होगा, दोस्त बनाएगा, वहां से उसका एक कम्युनिटी डेवलप होगा, वहां से उसका एक कल्चर डेवलप होगा, वो एसोसिएशन डेवलप होगा, यू नो। सो इफ that is in contrast and that is not matching with the mindset of parents, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem because it will become a problem more with the family itself and also the child somewhere, because as the child is going to grow, वो फ्रेंड्स उसके बैकग्राउंड को अच्छे से नहीं देखेंगे, उसकी फैमिली को अच्छे से नहीं देखेंगे, वो कहीं ना कहीं शाई आउट और लेफ्ट आउट फील करेगा, you know he might even start feeling ashamed of his own family. This can also be a big problem. So losing your own child will be a very disturbing impact for any parent. तो ये जो फैक्टर होता है ना, ये कई लोग समझ नहीं पाते हैं इस चीज को कि क्यों आपके बच्चे को इंटरव्यू में लिया जाता है, क्यों आपके बच्चे को इंटरव्यू में रिजेक्ट किया जाता है, बिकॉज दे सी दैट that yes, this background is not matching with a certain kind of a class of uh, class of the people we have, the mindset of the people we have, and then henceforth this will clash back and this will backfire. अगर इस माइंडसेट से स्कूल्स ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं then it's very good. But if the mindset is different, where we are admitting people, just because we want to control a certain kind of a nation or economy on a small rule of tribal or small rule of a blessing or small rule of anything of that kind, I think that is very wrong. वो एक corruption अलग level का होता है, which is very wrong. These are two different mindsets. Now what happens is that people are not getting much admissions. एक एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट ले लेती हूँ मैं, वहां पे स्कूल खुला है, अब बच्चे पढ़ने जा रहे हैं, उनको भी इकोनॉमी अपनी जनरेट करनी है। अब क्या होता है ना, देन the game starts the game starts of stealing children, the game starts of ये हॉस्पिटल से कनेक्टेड होता है सारा आपका, किडनैपिंग होती है, ट्रैफिकिंग होती है, एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट्स हैपनिंग बिकॉज द मार्केट हैज टू रन। अब मार्केट रन होगा तो कैसे होगा? बाय having people from diverse backgrounds and just getting into the game of this corruption of kidnapping, trafficking, begging, putting people, the same kids are even sent on begging. They beg, and with that money, poor kids try to even, they are forced to even pay money for their schools, which are probably charging them 1 rupee, 2 rupee, and they have a very good face for the nation that, we are the NGOs and we are working, we are doing this for them. And they're making feel children also that you're earning your money, you're cleaning the car at the traffic and you're coming and paying 10 rupees for your education. This is something that is operating now. ये ये जनरेट किया जा रहा है। how the good is traveling in the system now. एक तरफ बुरा करते हैं, फिर उस बुरे को रेक्टिफाई करने के लिए उस बुरे को अच्छा सिखाते हैं कि तुम्हारी लाइफ में ये हुआ है तुम्हारे साथ, अब तुम ऐसा करो, यू शुड अर्न इन लाइफ, यू शुड नॉट बेग। तो बच्चे क्या करते हैं? ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पे सफाई करते हैं, क्लीनिंग करते हैं, फिर वो थोड़े से पैसे कमा के लाते हैं। उस पैसे में क्या होता है? दे हैव देयर फूड, दे हैव one time meal or 2 time meal, whatever, and then they also pay for the education at the same time to feel good about the fact that yes, I am doing it by myself. कितना हार्ड वर्क है उसमें? Can anybody even imagine the amount of hard work that little child is actually putting in, and the world is running and bragging about the hard work that they have been through? Yeah, so sorry. I'm really sorry, but it just disappointed me so much. so much, and I just feel disgraced about everything that I've done in my life. So I don't know if there is any better system that really believes in actions but not in bragging and fighting and trying to work on the external layers of the system. That, there's the same argument of caste system and there's the same argument, but nobody's actually working hard to reach out to the core of the problem, why things are created and why they don't have a polished system and why they don't have uh, to bring every mind together is difficult, because I think the problem is to have too many leaders in one funnel, and dividing your own one city with so many districts and so many different places who are not even coordinating well with uh, the CM of uh, this the city, the state. So uh, the confusion is a lot there. The confusion is a lot there, and by the time things reach to the prime minister and things reach elsewhere to the global leadership or whatever, it is very destructive. And we are sitting at a war with uh, a confusion of leadership which is very dominating, and it has reached at a level where people are fighting for justice for themselves, and the justice is not about fighting for the peace or fighting for the equality. Justice is about fixing the system and understanding the root cause of this creation. I know people who are deserted, they're deserted. The ones who don't have a family don't have a family. Cannot be fixed, but there is always a way out for bettering people's life. And even if that is about giving them skills and tools that is going to change their life, if not really a well spoken environment, and if not really a presentable environment which makes them be part of a certain elite group or whatever, I think they can definitely bank upon uh, a lot of uh, respectable life for themselves by being part of uh, the labor system that actually takes care of them for everything that they do. I know that is also being taken over now. We are transforming so much in technology that people are using machines instead of people for building houses. Uh, but in India, since we are at peak with the kind of a population that we have and the majority of people that we have who are starving, make sure you laundry them and you give it like you're actually gifting your clothes in a good way to somebody, so that they feel like that this is new and they can use it. So don't do it like that, you're just giving your old clothes not washed, torn, whatever, just give it to somebody like that. No, what you're giving is also to someone who's as parallel as you, just lost uh, the vision and the privileged life, unfortunately, due to circumstances that happened in their life. So This is one way of lifting somebody, and making a better life is only by giving them opportunities and giving them more reasons to grow rather than finishing all the reasons from their life. And that can only happen when we do not make a big issue on humanity by yeah, we do not make a big issue on humanity by taking away those opportunities from them. People should understand that man is uh, the only species which is actually meant to create its resources. And man has a lot of resources, and those resources should be well read. Those resources are not uh, making money from each other, though people also do that. When we say about human resources, this human resource system is like hiring an HR, and we are resourcing people from different backgrounds, and now the corruption starts happening, and how we are using those backgrounds with their last names and this and that. So I think these are the little things that we need to be ethical about, and understand that man started as a hunter, and the resources were the nature, the resources were the diverse species, the resources were finding a living from those elements in its life, and not really harming each other. And now what happens is, there are two kinds of people: soft hearted and hard hearted. Hard hearted people know how to make their living with all those resources which are available in the world, while soft hearted will not have that heart to make a living out of cruelty and a living out of that. So here the whole fight comes, when they start coming in contrast with each other, and they have a fight over a message that I'm right and I'm right. That is wrong. You both are right. You just have a different way of responding to the resource that you have in front of you. One wants to make a resource that's going to create a living, like whether it is leather, whether it is fur, whether it is food, you know, anything of that sort, while the other is going to be soft about it, that no, I cannot. When you choose to be a doctor in life, you choose your line, right? You choose whether you want to be a heart surgeon, or whether you want to be an ENT, or whether you want to be whatever. You choose that, yes, I want to be a gynecologist. But there's a critical thinking about it. Most of the men don't choose to be a gynecologist. They know that how Indian market works. Women won't be comfortable coming out to them. Men won't be comfortable letting their woman be handled by a male doctor. So no matter how much you brag about education and everything, so we have a certain mindset which controls us as human, which makes us an extrovert and an introvert person. If an introvert person will have their own way of looking at things, and an extrovert will have their own understanding towards things. By the way, both are right. Both are right. But it's just simple that when doctors choose their stream, in the same way, we have people who choose their profession in life, because they are hard hearted or they are soft hearted. You don't put people in a vessel of being like, you don't push a hard hearted person to be soft. That is going to break the well being of that person. You don't push a soft hearted person to be a hard hearted person. You know what I'm trying to say? To do things that a hard hearted person does. That person is going to get triggered and get blasted. That's not possible. That's not possible, because their well being, their mindset is not ready for it. Some people cannot see blood, while for somebody else it's normal, because they work in a slaughter room all day. It's normal. So people come from different mental health. By mental health, I really means that, and that does not mean that a person who is at a hard health as a mind, a very strong headed person is mentally retarded, or somebody who is a soft minded person is a retard. No, that's not it. That is the parameter of their mental health, as long as they are not overboarding with it, in the sense they are not harming each other. You are mentally fit as long as you are not harming each other. The The minute you start harming each other for what they are doing in life, that is the time you have a mental problem. When you pull people down, that is the time you have a mental problem. You really do not have a mental problem as long as you're focusing on yourself, you're doing right things, you moving proceeding in life with ethics. You don't have a mental problem. But the minute you start pulling someone down, that is the time you really have a mental problem, and that is the time you should really focus on yourself, that you need to remove this negativity out of you. Someone unwilling to manage things that they don't want to manage is they don't want to manage, because they see themselves differently. They want to manage something else in life, and I think they should be given a fair chance to manage what they want to manage in life rather than what people think that they should manage this. We might think a lot of many things. I have two sons, and I might think that, oh, my one son should do this and my other son should do it. It does not work like that. Maybe my son wants to do something else. I cannot force my son to do this. Oh, I want you to be an artist. No, I want to do business. I cannot force a business mind to get into art. I cannot force that. He's choosing to do art after doing business. That's his choice. Or an artist choosing to do business is also their choice. So we don't force people to do things as and how we want to do it, because that's not well-being. That's really not well-being. As long as people are filing the ITRs, as long as people are operating in a system that the nation is running in, you have a justified face. That is what makes sense. You don't have to be part of any dynasty. I do not understand the role of still having a king rule or a dynasty rule. I do not understand that. Coming from a political background is a different way. You have the power to make things, to change things. You have the power to make things better for people, right? But coming from a kingdom does not put you in a position where you can change things for somebody. Because then that becomes like, this is my empire and I'm placing people as I want. And that is something which is wrong. That is something which is wrong. To be associated with a certain family is good. That, oh, I'm coming from a family which is royalty, which is this, which is that. It's okay. But by the end of the day, to change that royalty into government is something which makes more difference, which means that yes, you're seeing people with equality. You're not living with the idea of that, oh, I'm from a royal family and I'm living with this idea of being at the royalty. I'm changing that royalty into a government which is going to work and operate people at equality and lifting them. This is the only difference. This is the only difference. So, to be positive does not mean to be on the extreme side of positivity, but if you can add just this much positivity in your life, that I'm not going to be negative about somebody else, that is all that you can do good to yourself. Because the minute you become negative about somebody else, that is the time you are changing yourself into a position of being a destructor for real. You are not a destructor as long as you are doing things ethically which are generating resources. That's part of your karma. That's part of being a man. That's part of being a hunter. That's part of finding your resources, and that's part of finding a living for yourself. But the minute you start working on the mindset of yours and seeing somebody else with negativity, oh, this person is doing this and this is cruel, that is the time you are becoming negative. That other person is just making their living, but you are becoming a negative person by not understanding that that person is making their living, and that is the only way they can make their living. You cannot change that. It's like somebody controlling you to change the way you can make your living, you know. What we can really work on is actually fixing the nature of how we look at each other, you know. It's actually fixing the nature of how we respond to someone with a different kind of a wardrobe or a different kind of, because that was how their life fell in trap. They lost something in life. They lost something for real in life. So just don't have that negative edge, and don't, it's not about you, you're not giving anything, that's okay, don't give, but also don't take. You know, if you're not giving them anything, then don't even take anything from them. If they are trying to find their little happiness in doing things that they want, in however they are trying to fix their life, don't take that power from them that they can fix their life. I think that is the worst thing anyone can do. That is when you're becoming a negative person. That a person is trying to find tools, not even steal tools. They are trying to find tools. How will somebody feels if the day Google stops? People are trying to find knowledge. They are finding free tools the way they can, and the day Google starts charging them, it's going to be so difficult for those people to actually find knowledge for themselves, to actually find tools. So don't take that tools from them. You don't take that little element from them that really makes them who they are. You know, that really helps them being who they are.